Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
From Goa, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show. Welcome to our study of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Welcome to episode 1259, Mara. Is that correct? 1259 episodes. Some people, even live on Zoom, that have seen them all. And I'd like to see if anyone had put it on the board if you've seen every episode. It's okay if you missed it, but you have to go back and see it. If you've gone back and seen it,
I can't say that that's true, and I don't think you can either.
You can't say what's true.
That I've seen every episode.
No, I haven't.
Because
I haven't.
If you're not there and I'm there, you don't go back and watch it.
Oh yeah, yes, I do. I want to see people. I want to see what the message board says, and people are like,
All right.
"This was so much better without Raghu."
No,
How are you, my dear Kastuba?
Doing good, Raghunath. Having a wonderful
I love in
time.
India how men say "my dear" to other men. Hello, my dear.
Do they?
Yes, my dear.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
What kind of bars have you been hanging out in?
I didn't go. All the men say it. No, everyone, my dear.
Right.
Say my dear.
Well, I've been doing good, Raghunath. That's beautiful here, you know? Anyway, it's the same thing. Spending time in the Ganga. I love going to the Ganga, chanting in the water.
In the Ganga. I feel like it's the safest place in the universe, chanting in the Ganga.
You feel like you're embraced, you're holding hands with Mother Ganga. She's got you, you know? She's got you.
And nothing can go wrong.
Nothing can go wrong.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
And I'm going to ask everybody to say a prayer that me and Mara make it to Vrindavan, and we can enter into Vrindavan. We leave tomorrow morning.
All right.
Looking forward to it. Going right to Govardhan Hill. That's the deal. That's the new place to be.
Hey, look, I just noticed we got Lisa Tuttle back here after a long time. We got Lisa Tuttle back.
I know. Some people take a Zoom break.
Yeah.
Something happens. They have a morning gig or something.
It's nice.
Anyway, welcome back.
Welcome back.
All right. So before we do
our nugget.
No, before we do our nugget, we're going to do announcements. We got very interesting announcements, including I'm going to be in Connecticut. What's the date of that show? The 4th, April 4th. Okay. Well,
you're going to be, or your band is going to be?
Well, I'm going to be there with my band in Camden, Connecticut.
Well, what band would that be?
Shelter. Shelter's playing. We got Josh Kane's going to come. We got who else did I just say is going to come? David Houseworth is going to show up.
What's the date on that?
Hannah Brinkhouse might show up. Hannah Brinkhouse is going to stage dive, and Henry is going to fly in a helicopter. Hannah Brinkhouse is like, I thought you played the violin. What's going on here? Why are people jumping on my shoulders?
I thought this was like a bhakti thing.
It is a bhakti thing of sorts. Anyway, Mara, give us some in 411, please.
All right, we're traveling tomorrow, so there's no show, but we'll do Q&A day on Sunday at 8 a.m. Thanks. It's a little too close. If you have questions, you can write us at wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com. And then we have Bhakti Recovery Group meetings today at 12:30 and 1 Eastern time. Cult of Cain, Josh Kane's asana class for our Patreon members, happening at 10:30 a.m. And this week is the first of Narayani's new book group, Nectar. They're starting with Nectar of Instruction, and that meets for 55 minutes, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern time. You can email us if you want more
Couldn't
details
they-
on that.
Add those 5 extra minutes and just make it an hour. What's with that?
She's got another commitment, like at 2 o'clock sharp, so it's got to end at 1:55.
55 minutes only. You don't. They're very punctual.
You know, I think it's good that you're going to Vrindavan tomorrow, if only because I'm getting worried about Mary. She is so bronze now. It's like
She's
could at
bronze.
any
She
day
is
could
so
just be she
Malibu
could,
Mare right now.
you could turn into like prune lady, like just like one more day. You know, it
She
could just
just
happen.
keeps getting darker and darker and darker. Anyway,
Get her out of there, Raghunath. Get her out of there.
we are ready for Govardhan Hill. Excited. All right, that is
Oh,
all.
we're
So
gonna do something
instead
different.
of a nugget today, we're going to do a little reading.
Yeah, we're gonna read a little something.
Why don't you explain where it's from and what the who
So,
wrote it?
I just picked. I wanted to get this book for a long time. It's been a little bit hard to get, but I found it, and I bought it this morning. The Sri Tattva Sandarbha of Jiva Goswami.
Want to say something about the Sundarbhas?
Well, I could read
Educate
something
us.
about them right here if you want.
Well, why don't you
It'll
say,
explain.
there's many Sundarbhas, right? And they're all written by Jiva
There's 6
Goswami.
Sandarbhas, and then there's the Krama Sandarbha, which is sometimes called the 7th Sandarbha. And these are books.
What's a Sundarbha mean? Do you know?
A Sandarbha is similar to like a garland in a sense. It means that the Tattva Sandarbha was written by one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. And you know, if you listen to this podcast all the time and you're into bhakti, you really have to learn who the 6 Goswamis are. We really need to begin to provide more of that education. Jiva
We're dropping the
Goswami,
ball with these people.
yeah, Jiva Goswami was the youngest of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. He was the nephew of Rupa and Sanatan, who were the seniors of the 6 Goswamis. But he was considered the greatest philosopher in this lineage. And the Sat Sandarbhas, the 6 Sandarbhas, they are 6 different books, which are they're deep philosophical books where he's drawing from the Srimad Bhagavatam and other ancient texts to establish the clear understanding of what Bhagavatam is presenting. And in a sense, what he's doing is also establishing this lineage's understanding through that. And so Tattva Sandarbha is the first of them. And really the basis of Tattva Sandarbha is a lot of it is just to establish how important and significant, predominant the Srimad Bhagavatam is, how authoritative it is, how it's actually the highest Vedic authority, the most complete revelation from Srila Vyasadeva.
Now, I've never read the Sundarbhas. Are they difficult and heady to read and deeply philosophical?
Yes.
Is it a little different than my Amar Chitrikatha comic books?
A little bit, a
little bit more heady than those. Are there
Maybe just a
colorful?
little.
Are there colorful pictures?
There's not one colorful.
There's not one picture in it.
No, it's nothing.
Okay, I only read pictures.
And you know, Gopi Pranadana, he passed away. Oh, what was it? I forget how long ago it was. It was maybe 6,
Not that
7
long
years
ago.
ago.
Yeah.
More maybe. He was a great soul who lived at Govardhan Hill and was a great Sanskrit scholar and a great philosopher. And he did wonderful translations of Tattva Sandarbha, Priyat Bhagavatamrita, Laghu Bhagavatamrita, books of the Goswamis that are real important works. So I've been looking forward to getting this. And I was reading his preface. He wrote the preface to it.
Okay.
And I thought this would be nice to read because here he's speaking a bit about what the Srimad Bhagavatam is. And we're reading from it every day. So I thought the listeners might be interested to hear some of this. Good?
Okay, great.
Okay. What are you doing? Are you oiling up over here? What's going on?
Yes, I didn't think you could see. I'm
I
giving
can
myself a
see.
little foot massage with some coconut oil. That's what I'm doing, but I didn't think you could see it.
All right.
Okay.
You're gonna spread coconut oil all over the room.
You know, it's okay. It's Goa. People do
Yeah,
that.
in South India, there's like usually a lot of coconut oil on the
There's
walls of any
coconut oil
hotels and
everywhere,
stuff like
man.
that.
Good stuff.
Okay.
Good stuff. I cover my
I think you
body
got to
with
get
it.
a little closer to the mic, though, Ragnar. A little closer.
Okay.
Or
All
bring
right.
the
Why
mic
don't you
closer.
read? I'm just going to listen and massage
Yeah.
myself. Little
Okay, so
Abhiyanga.
mostly what I'm picking out are parts that speak especially about what the Bhagavatam is, but we might hear a little bit about who Jiva Goswami is or what the Sandarbhas are too. Okay. So I'll just start from the beginning. Sri Jiva Goswami, the author of Bhagavat Sandarbha, also is known as the formidable scholar and the most important theologian of the Vaishnava school founded by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya. He was also a brilliant, inspired poet, as evidenced by his other masterpiece, the Gopal Champu. The Gopal Champu is like a big, thick book that's all Krishna's leelas, so all Krishna's pastimes. This is a book about dense philosophy, more like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a treatise, like a
Treatise. Yeah.
yeah.
No, he also did his, he also did, I'd love to find the actual info about it, but he also made his own practice of studying Sanskrit.
Yes, he
But
did.
the idea was you can get lost and get absorbed in Sanskrit and it can deviate you from your bhakti. So he made a way to study Sanskrit where every like syllable is a name of Krishna, like a Krishna
Yeah,
conscious version. He's like one of these geniuses. A
super
Krishna
genius.
conscious way to learn Sanskrit. How cool is
Yeah,
that?
very cool. Um, but his greatest attribute was his ardent devotion to Sri Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya taught and lived selfless devotion to the supreme and perfect object of love, the young cowherd of Vrindavan, Krishna. And
Hmm.
so Jiva, born into a family of avid Krishna followers of Lord Chaitanya, and showing their same enthusiasm from his earliest years, took as his mission in life to reveal Krishna as the Supreme Lord and give intelligent, spiritually inclined people solid reasons to become attracted to him.
Mm.
Sri Krishna shares his own ideas in the Bhagavad Gita, right? That's a book spoken by Krishna. But his most complete biography is found in the Bhagavad Purana, the Srimad Bhagavatam, known as Srimad Bhagavatam or simply Bhagavatam. Typically, for a major Purana, because there's like 18 major Puranas, right? Typically, for a major Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam discusses many things, beginning with the creation of the material world and the genealogies of demigods, sages, and the royal lines coming from the gods of the sun and the moon, right? That's all that we've been reading about,
Yep.
Within this framework of universal history, more than 3,000 humans and celestials are described or mentioned. You could call them,
I would call them aliens,
okay,
ancient
and
aliens.
more than 30 avatars of Lord Vishnu. But
Mm.
the center of attention for this Purana is also, as also for the Bhagavad Gita, is its namesake, Bhagavan, the opulent Lord. The title Sri Bhagavan, as used in the Bhagavatam, applies most properly to the avatar who appears how many generations do you think after Brahma Krishna appeared? Take a wild guess. It's much less than I would have thought, because some of those early, they had very long lifetimes, I guess, going. Really.
I don't know. I mean,
Hard to-
Krishna appeared in Dwapara Yuga. It must have been a long time.
The title Bhagavan, as used in Bhagavatam, applies most properly to the avatar who appears some 60 generations after the creator Brahma in the lunar dynasty of the Vrishnis, Krishna, the son of Vasudeva.
Hmm.
The 10th of the Bhagavatam's 12 cantos is entirely dedicated to Krishna's life, and this part comprises 90 chapters out of a total 325.
Hmm.
So it's close to a third, not quite a third, but it's close to a
Hmm.
third of the 10th canto. The Bhagavad Purana, however, is not just a compilation of life histories. It also elaborately presents the theology of Vaishnava devotion, of bhakti yoga and devotion. This theology, however, is not presented in a linear, systematic way, but mostly through the medium of prayers offered to Krishna and other avatars, and also through another Gita, this one spoken by Krishna to Uddhava in the 11th canto, called the Uddhava Gita. Right. Okay, so that gives us that, in one way, it was nice to a nice concise description of what the Bhagavatam consists of there. He writes, although each of the four major schools of Vaishnavism has its important Sanskrit commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam, some schools of Vaishnavism give more attention to Vyasadev's Vedanta Sutras, more to that than to the Srimad Bhagavatam. A different emphasis arose, however, about 500 years ago when Sri Chaitanya, whom Gaudiya Vaishnavas regard as Krishna himself, reborn to teach the chanting of his own names, advised his followers to study and discuss Bhagavatam. Citing various other Puranas, he honored Srimad Bhagavatam as the natural commentary on the Sutras of Vedanta, a commentary by their author, Vyasadeva himself. So he was saying, he was quoting other Puranas that were speaking about the Srimad Bhagavatam, and through that demonstrating that you might think that the Vedanta Sutra is the most important part of Vyasadeva's philosophy, but the Bhagavatam is actually the commentary on Vedanta Sutra, written by Vyasadeva himself, the author of the Vedanta Sutras. Because Lord Chaitanya accepted the Bhagavatam as a Vedanta commentary, none of his followers produced another commentary on the Vedanta Sutras until Baladeva Vidyabhushana wrote the Govinda Bhasya 300 years ago. Senior followers of Mahaprabhu of Sri Chaitanya began writing commentaries on the Bhagavatam, however, even while he was present. The earliest was
Quite amazing.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing how smart Lord Chaitanya had to be to like take all these quotes from all other all other traditions, and then defeat the other scholars.
He is God. That helps.
It does help to be all-knowing.
Omniscience is a
Omniscience helps in a debate.
Mara, get that one down, please. Okay. The earliest of these Bhagavatam commentaries was the Chaitanya Mata Manjusha by Srinath Chakravarti, not Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, but Srinath Chakravarti, followed by Srila Sanat Goswami's Vaishnava Toshani. This same Sanatan, the brother of Srila Rupa Goswami, and their associate Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, whom Raghunath is named after,
my namesake,
they wrote original poetry and didactic works, all derived from the Bhagavatam. So they built a whole culture out of the Bhagavatam, a literary culture out of the Bhagavatam, the 6 Goswamis. I'll jump forward a little bit. Okay. Bhagavat Sandarbha, the most complete and authoritative analysis, Bhagavat Sandarbha, the 6 Sandarbhas, is the most complete and authoritative analysis of Srimad Bhagavatam in the Gaudiya line. This Bhagavat Sandarbha, a set of 6 treatises, also known as the 6 Sandarbhas, is the most systematically complete exegesis of the Srimad Bhagavatam ever written. Exegesis? God, I'm not a scholar. Sorry, people.
Eggs. Hare Krishna.
Though most commentaries on the Bhagavatam proceed through the text verse by verse, some works deal with parts and special topics of the Bhagavatam, but nothing of such an encyclopedic scope as the Sandarbhas. Anyone, therefore, wanting to know Srimad Bhagavatam thoroughly would be well served by studying the Sandarbhas. He goes on to say that, well, I'll just read some. In the view of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, and again, Gaudiya is kind of a geographical term, but it refers to the followers of Sri Chaitanya. In the view of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Srimad Bhagavatam serves 2 kinds of readers. First, those who are already steeped in devotion to Krishna, and who therefore naturally enjoy hearing about his forms, qualities, and activities. And second, those who are somewhere along the path to such devotional perfection. For the accomplished devotees, the Bhagavatam is full of the sweet tastes of love of God. And he quotes the famous verse, Nigama kalpataror galitam palam. O expert and thoughtful people, relish Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desire tree of the Vedic literatures. It emanated from the lips of Sri Shukadeva Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls. Then he continues, the Bhagavatam serves those who seek advancement on this path, the second group mentioned above, by gradually attracting them to Krishna and to loving devotional service to him, which is described as the original natural behavior of the living entity. Learning to love Krishna requires primarily study of his nature, qualities, and activities, the kinds of qualities of the relationships he wants and offers to exchange with us, and what obstructs and prevents us from experiencing those relationships. I'll wrap it up with just a little bit more. One moment. Oh, maybe that's it. I thought there was something more I wanted to read. See if I can find it.
Next time I'll read my comic books.
Okay, well, you can bring a comic
thoroughly
book.
entertaining.
Okay, maybe that's enough for now.
Okay.
But I think that's a nice, just a little something to help us understand what we're reading. I liked how, and I'll share this part again. The Bhagavad Purana, however, is not just a compilation of life histories. It also elaborately presents the theology of Vaishnava devotion. Theology, however, is not this theology, however, is not presented in a linear, systematic way, but mostly through the medium of prayers offered to Krishna and other avatars. And also, and so that's what we're reading, like how it how we hear these stories and then they frame the prayers of a great Vaishnava. Or here, like in the chapter that we're reading now about Prahlad, it's kind of like the conversation is framing his statements, his depth of understanding, his knowledge of bhakti, his realizations through the questions that are being asked of him by his father and by his teachers. And then it's within the context of a story, but the story is framing these theological, spiritual teachings. And so I guess we'll be hearing more of that today, huh?
Yeah. Exciting. What do you say we dive in, sir?
Let's do it.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tatojayam dirayat. Before we start in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning.
Oh, we froze on us into Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Hopefully we'll get Raghunath back. It's that time where he freezes out. But I will continue to chant the opening shlokas. Nasta preshvabhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual masters have opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful I offer my respectful obeisances unto them. Okay, so I'm feeling hopeful that since it didn't seem like Raghunath's lights went out before he froze, that he didn't lose all power, but that he just got bumped or froze up. So hopefully he'll be back with us very shortly. But I'll try to pick up where we left off, and I wish I had Mara here to tell me exactly where we left off yesterday. Oh, I think I can find it though. Let's see. We read Text number 12. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, what I'll do is I just wanted to, I think I wanted to do a little bit of review anyway. Prahlad was asked, where did you get this from? You know, you were asked by your father, what did you learn at school? And you started speaking all of this bhakti yoga stuff, all this devotion to Lord Vishnu stuff. You're saying that materialistic lifestyle is like a big pit that someone falls into and they can't get out of. And then you started telling your father that he should leave it all behind and wander off into the forest of Vrindavan and worship Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu. Where in the world did this stuff come in? And his teachers are feeling the pressure because Prahlad's father is such a powerful tyrant, and he's going to hold his teachers responsible for what his son is learning. And so when the teachers got him back into school, they asked, where did this all come from? Where did you hear this stuff? Have our enemies infiltrated in you in some way? And is that where this is coming from? So that was the second question asked to Prahlad. And then Prahlad, again, he comes through with this deep spiritual teachings. It's getting even deeper now. And he began to speak on this concept of how people who are actually seeing the truth, people that are actually have spiritual realization, they don't see in terms of friends and enemies. They see a certain oneness, a oneness that underlies all of the distinctions between us, physical distinctions, distinctions of race, distinctions of sex or gender, distinctions of species. That the one with deeper vision sees past that, sees the equality on the substratum of that, right? The spiritual substratum. And therefore they can't see this person as my friend, this person is my enemy because of that oneness. So I'll just repeat. I want to see if Rug was here.
I'm back, sir. I'm back.
Oh, okay. He said, "Let me know, man. Let me know."
Sorry, I was listening attentively.
Oh, wow. Look. Okay. So why don't we quickly read what he said already? I think that would be verses 11 and 12, and then I don't think we've read 13 yet.
No. Okay. Here's Prahlad Maharaj. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose external energy has created the distinct my friend and my enemy by diluting the intelligence of men. Indeed, I'm now actually experiencing this, although I've previously heard it from authoritative sources. So he's speaking to the school teachers who are trying to get to the bottom of how his intelligence became so corrupted.
Yes.
Right. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased with a living entity because of his devotional service, one becomes a pundit and does not make distinctions between enemies, friends, and himself. Intelligently, he then thinks every one of us is an eternal servant of God, and therefore we are not different from one another. That's it.
They're like, stop. Where is it? And he wraps it up with this.
Here's
Or he
text
doesn't
13.
wrap it. There's still there's a couple more.
Persons who always think in terms of enemy and friend are unable to ascertain the supersoul within themselves. Pretty interesting, huh?
Yes.
Not to speak of them, even such exalted persons as Lord Brahma, who are fully conversant with the Vedic literature, are sometimes bewildered in following the principles of devotional service. The same Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has created this situation, has certainly given me the intelligence to take the side of your so-called enemy.
Okay, let's slow down 1 second here. This was a very interesting verse. Persons who always think in terms of now, as a bhakti yoga, let's bring this down to like our community, right? Like us people tuning in here in Bhagavatam every day, wanting to practice bhakti yoga.
Not like those other people that just listen at other times. The others who listen on podcasts.
Others too. I'm talking about the others.
The others, they're not like us.
The
people who show up every day. These are the real people. These are the real Bhagavatam listeners.
And the others are the enemy?
The others could be the enemy. Could be the
No, but my point here is that we all like to identify. We were speaking about this a bit when we were in some of the previous chapters that were dealing with Vritrasura, Indra, and all of that. We all like to think that when these texts speak, they're not speaking about us; they're speaking about everybody else, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not one of the demons in this story. I'm one of the
I'm
good
the
people.
good guy.
But to the extent that we think this way, we will not. According to Srila Prahlad here, he said, as long as we're thinking in terms of enemies and friends, we're unable to ascertain the super soul, the Paramatma within themselves, right? People
Sure.
who think that way. That is something that we're striving for, that we're working for, that we're spending time and energy and effort to try to achieve. And it's kind of like if we're maintaining this kind of sectarian uh what's that thing, like when there's different camps or whatever, this kind of political kind of mentality. It's kind of like we're rowing the boat, but the anchor is down and we're
The
not going
anchor's
anywhere.
down. Good one.
Yeah, anchor.
I look at it as like markers, or sometimes when you drive onto the highway from an exit, if you could see that the people where the people are exit, you're going on, but then there's another road coming off the exit, and that sign will have sign wrong way, like don't get on this
Yeah.
way, get on the other way. So what the
They don't
Bhagavatam and the
always
Bhagavad
follow
Gita
that in
does.
India, by the way.
No, they don't. They
Remember when
don't.
we were on the bus we're coming
Oh,
from
that was crazy.
the
That was
Go
crazy.
Village. And it's like, excuse me, bus driver, you're
You're
going
driving
the
on the wrong
wrong way
side of
on
the
the
road
highway.
with a bus full of American students. It's really looking bad for us right now. I told them you were a professional. But the idea is there's or trail markers. Like you are off the trail. So the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam, and in this case, Prahlad Maharaj, is putting down markers to know that you are off base. You have gone off the trail. You're about to get deeply lost in the woods, and you may never find your way back. And so the markers are there, like on the Appalachian Trail. There's little markers so you know you're on the trail. But then there's, then there's like the wrong way signs. You're going the wrong direction. So he's putting out 16 chapters expert about this too. 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is great for this too. How do you become dear to Krishna? How do you know when you're totally off base? What's the mentality of a demonic person? What's the mentality of a godly person? And
Yeah.
by hearing those, it's not like you were saying, well, wow, I think I sound like I'm godly. When I read them, I think like, oh man, I am embracing a bunch of these demonic qualities.
That's
I'm
my
not
point.
even just like, I don't just have them. I'm like rallying behind them.
So here Prahlad speaking to teachers, and they said, where'd you hear this stuff? And he's saying, I can see you guys are bewildered. You're seeing in terms of friends and enemy. Therefore, you're not able to ascertain the super soul within yourself. But actually, that's where I'm getting it. That same Supreme Personality Godhead who has created this situation has certainly given me the intelligence from within to take the side of your so-called enemy. So you're wondering where I'm getting this from? It's coming from within.
Yeah.
Now, this is a nice verse, 14, a nice analogy is used.
O teachers, as iron attracted by magnetic stone moves towards the magnet, my consciousness, having been changed by his will, is attracted by Lord Vishnu, who carries a disc in his hands. Thus, I have no independence.
Let's read the commentary to this, Robert.
This is beautiful, huh?
Yeah.
This is chapter
There's,
14 commentary.
Satyaraj Prabhu, and I have it here pulled up. We could read it or read from it. He wrote a whole article once on this analogy of the magnet. But why don't you go ahead and start?
Okay. For iron to be attracted by a magnet, it is natural. Similarly, for living entities to be attracted towards Krishna, it is natural. And therefore, the Lord's real name is Krishna, meaning he who attracts everyone and everything. By the way, some people may think like, well, I'm trying hard. I'm sitting there chanting and I don't get it. I'm not that attracted. Guess what? You are. You are attracted to it. We just have bad habits. And after a while, as we lose taste for our bad habits and we get a higher taste for attraction to Krishna, We look back at our bad habits and think, I can't believe I was into that. I
Right.
can't believe that. I can't believe I did that. What was I thinking? Right? And this is what happens. We lose taste for the material world and we develop taste for Krishna. I was just hanging out with one of our 300-hour students. I took her yoga class and she was teaching down here in yoga. And she's just like, and I told her I was going to be in Alachua for the Gaur Purnim festival. And she said, I've got to get back to some Krishna stuff in my life. It was so nice being there. You get to that bhakti, you get to like what we're doing at the Govardhan Eco Village, and there is just such a high, and there's
Yeah.
no downtime for the consciousness. You're just high. And then once you leave that circle, you're sort of like, what just happened to me? What just
Yeah.
happened to me? So yeah, we are attracted to Krishna. We're just overly attracted to Maya. So a typical example of such attractions are found in Vrindavan, where everything and everyone is attracted by Krishna.
You're going
The
there tomorrow,
elderly
Raghu.
person, going there tomorrow. The elderly persons like Nanda Maharaj and Yasoda Devi, like the friends like Sridham, Sudam, and the other cowherd boys, the gopis like Srimati Radharani and her associates, even the birds, beasts, cows, and calves are all attracted. The flowers and fruits in the gardens are attracted. The waves of the Yamuna are attracted. And the land, the sky, the trees, the plants, the animals, and all other living beings are attracted by Krishna. This is the natural situation of everything in Vrindavan.
Beautiful, huh?
It's beautiful.
And then, just contrary
Just
to the affairs of
Just
Vrindavan.
contrary to the affairs of Vrindavan is the material world, where no one is attracted by Krishna and everyone is attracted by Maya. It's so interesting how Maya is just like a thin veil, isn't it? It's almost like when you go to a Fox Studios or wherever they're filming movies, and it looks like it's a cowboy scene, but there's nothing there. There's nothing behind it. It's fake. There's
A
fake. Have you ever
facade?
been to like a movie studios in California?
No, I never have.
They look like a New York City street, but there's nothing behind it. You can't go
Yeah.
in the buildings. It's all just a prop.
Mhm.
Maya, all you have to do is analyze it thoughtfully. Although some people, it's just become very, very evident. This material world is an illusion. It's a veil. It's shiny, but it's like broken glass. It appears like has some value, but every time I dive into it and grip the material world, it cuts my hand like glass. It's not. It actually has very little value except to teach me lessons. This is the difference. Back to the purport. This is the difference between the spiritual and the material worlds. Hiranyakashipu, who was in the material world, was attracted by women and money. Those are the big ones. Whereas Prahlad Maharaj, being in his natural position, was attracted by Krishna. In replying to Hiranyakashipu's question about why Prahlad had a deviant view, Prahlad said that his view was not deviant, for the natural position of everyone is to be attracted by Krishna. Hiranyakashipu found this view deviant. Prahlad said, because of being unnaturally unattracted by Krishna. I'm sorry. Hiranyakashipu found this view deviant. Prahlad said, because of being unnaturally unattracted by Krishna. Hiranyakashipu therefore needed purification.
Okay.
And we're going to help with that. Our Lord Nrsimhadev is going to help with that purification right now.
As soon as one is purified of material contamination, he is again attracted by Krishna, right? And that's where, that's the idea behind this magnet analogy. And Prabhupada takes it further. But first, let's look at this theology, right? It's not saying that there's a God who's big and powerful, and you need to submit to that God.
That's a horrible way to look at God.
It's
almost like some king is coming to your country. He's ready to take your cattle, your women, all your property. He's a tyrant. You got to better surrender to him, or he's going to kill you. You have no option.
I've been seeing a few clips of Christopher Hitchens lately, and he really works with that stuff. Like he'll take a really Well, I think he'll misrepresent, although I'm sure he could provide strong arguments.
He's a
But
famous atheist, right?
yeah, and he misrepresents the
He's really
spirit.
good, by the way.
He's so pompous. It's just like, come on, man. It's like he's
No,
trying
but
to
he's good.
be
He's
so
good.
Well, actually, I don't think he's so good. Really,
Well, with religion, all he's dealing with is a bunch of Protestants there in England. He's not dealing with Vaishnavas,
that's part
Vaishnava
of what I mean.
theology.
So
Yeah,
he'll say, like, this is your belief that there's this being that's inside your mind and demanding, monitoring your thoughts and ready to punish you forever for any kind of deviation or behavior that's bad, and they don't even define why it's bad, and and it does. Christianity has played out like that in many ways. There's an incredibly beautiful, deep spiritual side to it, but yeah, a lot of it has come down in that way, and so there's some truth in what he's saying, but he's not dealing with he's dealing with a very small corner. Well, I shouldn't say that. Actually, it's a large corner, if we're looking like earthly, but he's not dealing with the totality of theology when he's doing that.
no, he's not dealing
And
with the
so
six Sandarbhas.
not yeah, right. Why don't you read the Sundarbas and see if you can make the same kind of arguments with that?
Yeah.
And so here we have the idea that God is by nature all attractive, but he's granted free will to every living being, and our natural attraction to him, if we want, it can ease up. And the example of a magnet is there. Like iron by nature is attracted to a magnet, but if the iron becomes rusty, it's not attracted. That
Sure.
That snap, doesn't work anymore. And so the practice of bhakti is all about kind of removing the rust, that purification that was being spoken about, so that your natural inclination, like a lover, is naturally attracted to the one that the object of their love. It's not submit or go to hell. It's like, I love you. What was I thinking? It's like,
Right.
it's like that. Now, so there's this article that Satyaraj, our friend Satyaraj Prabhu, wrote.
Satyaraj, gotta give more
Yeah.
credit than that. The guy, the Prabhu made me a devotee.
Okay.
Spoon fed me bhakti.
Well, this is an article that he wrote called "Of Mud and Magnets." Sometimes they say rust, or sometimes Prabhupada would say, like, if a magnet is muddy, it's not attracted, right? But in it he quotes from another friend of ours, Pradyumna Prabhu, who we've had on the show, Paul Sherbo, also known as Paul Sherbo. And this is what he writes on this. He writes, the eternal relationship between the pure souls and Bhagavan, or Krishna, is considered to be as natural as that between iron and a magnet. As Bhakti Vinod puts it, so Bhakti Vinod, of course, is another great teacher in this lineage. As Bhakti Vinod puts it, quote, as iron is attracted by a magnet, so the natural attraction of the small consciousness, meaning us, toward the great consciousness, meaning God, is the symptom of love, right? The natural action, the natural attraction is a symptom of the love that is there, that's dormant within us, that can be awakened and then snap, right? The attraction is there. In his notes on this verse, Bhaktivinoda explains that in their quality of consciousness, both God and the living entities are one. Krishna attracts only the living consciousness, and the mutual attraction of such consciousness, of such conscious beings, is eternal. So you are saying people feel unattracted, but actually they are eternally, but it's just, we've just got a little muddy or a little rusty. Further, the attraction of the smaller consciousness by the large consciousness is also eternal. So the smaller consciousness can pull he's going to get into that, can pull the big one. This is reflected in the material world by the attraction of atoms found by physicists. He goes on with that a little bit, but this is what Satyaraj follows up with. He says, Pradyumna's source is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Datta Kaustubha. And in fact, the Thakur wrote about this repeatedly. He gives another quote that reads like this: just as when a magnet is placed close to iron, it displays its inherent natural quality. Similarly, The jiva, when endowed with finite consciousness, shows his inherent tendency when he's in the proximity of Krishna, whose infinite consciousness, because of his Svarup Lakshana, his inherent nature is pure love. So because our inherent nature is pure love for God, when we get close, snap. And so how do we get close? We read Bhagavatam, we chant these names, all the practices of bhakti, it's called upasana. It doesn't mean just like worship, but it means getting close. Now, this is what, this is an interesting follow-up, which goes even more against that grain of that Christopher Hitchens kind of, what he's commenting on. He says, but there's more. This pure priti or prema, this pure love, attracts Krishna as well. So Krishna is not only the attractor by nature, but he's also attracted by the love of the soul, right? So he says this pure priti or prema attracts Krishna as well, making love of God the ultimate magnetic force. Because if God is the all attractive, but the all attractive is attracted by one's love, then love is the ultimate magnetic force, even more than God, because God's attracted by it. Right? So not only is Bhagavan like a magnet, in other words, not only is Bhagavan, Krishna, like a magnet, attracting all, but prema bhakti, pure devotional love, is like a magnet too, attracting no less than Bhagavan himself. As Srila Rupa Goswami confirms, quote, Krishna attracts everyone, but devotional service attracts him. And his words are echoed by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, particularly in our context. He writes, prema assumes the nature of a magnet that attracts the black iron-like Sri Krishna, making him appear before the devotee. Thus there is a law of reciprocation in bhakti, in which Bhagavan attracts the souls, the jivas, and through their devotion he is irresistibly drawn to them as well, just as two magnets can attract, at least if their opposite poles are facing each other.
Nice.
So, yeah, this
nice.
is, we should feel that, when we're healthy, when our conscious, when we're not allowing our mind to get dragged into the mud of the petty things of this world.
There's
then
also no
we feel
threat,
that attraction, we feel that attraction strong,
there's also no threat by Krishna. Krishna just says, hey, well, this is how it is. You can do it or not. I've told you everything, Arjuna. Now you choose what you want to do in this world.
Yeah.
And there's a way when we're eager to go towards Krishna, Krishna will eagerly run towards us. As soon as we say, you know what? I need a break. And guess what, everybody? You can take a break. And a lot of us will take a break from our God pursuit. And Krishna will back off and give you that space you need. Unfortunately, you already have a taste. Unfortunately, you already know too much. And you can never enjoy the material world like you did previously. Like once you know that it's not New York City, it's a facade, it's a prop, it's a movie. Then when you walk around New York City, the fake New York City in LA or in Hollywood, you'll be like, you can't get that same feeling. I'm walking in New York. I'm just singing in the rain. You can't feel like you're in New York anymore. It's a pretend. It's a romantic prop. What do you call those props? A set. It's a set of it's a movie set. You know how you get a romance of being in Paris, a romance of being in Rome, a romance of being in New York City. It's a movie set. It's not real. Once you know that, you can't enjoy the material world again. You can't get and people say, well, no, this time it's going to be different. It's not going to be any different. It's going to be the same. It's going to be the same old state. It's going to be worse because too much. It can never be the same. But Krishna gets sweeter, actually. The more and we've all experienced some sweetness with Krishna already. Guess what? It gets sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. Like that dark Krishna, the iron. Huh?
Yeah.
There's many temples in India that had floating deities.
Many?
That were made with, there were more than one. There was more than one. I just heard of another one with a floating deity. The famous one was in Konark. They were destroyed by these invaders.
Sun Temple?
Huh?
The Sun Temple?
The Sun Temple, yeah. But there was another one of floating deities.
Boy,
It's a whole
what would it
interesting
be like
engineering
to go
feat.
into that temple, the Sun Temple? I mean, it's such an architectural masterwork, but you can't get in there anymore, right?
Well, no,
You
you
just see
can.
from the outside.
It's sort of like
Can you go in?
yeah, it's basically a monument,
I've
you
been there
know.
before. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It-
It's designed like Suryadev's chariot.
Chariot. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And they're gonna
Yeah.
guess what? They're gonna
What?
reclaim them all.
They're
They're gonna reclaim them all the
gonna
temples. Get ready.
get them
India's gonna
all
change
worked
in
up
10
here. Getting
years.
all
They
worked up.
just got Ram Mandir. They're gonna reclaim them all.
I was,
Because all
I
they
was
have to
thinking
do,
about that
because
Ram
all
Mandir
you know,
thing.
and then yeah, they're
Just
about
yeah.
don't get me
We're
going.
getting all excited.
14,000
Already.
temples have been destroyed and built on top of them.
14,000?
1,400
1,400.
temples. 1,400 temples. It's still a lot
Still,
of
that's a
temples.
lot. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I was thinking about when we were speaking, because I recently saw one big famous guru figure, popular guru figure, speaking to a woman journalist who was she was kind of coming off real, I guess anyway, she was asking him about the Ram Mandir.
By the way, you know who's got a good answer for that? Kishori Johnny on her Instagram.
Okay.
She went off
I
on
was about to try to give one right now, but if
okay.
you want to hear it.
Okay, well, because a lot of these, both New York Times and what's the big BBC, they wrote
BBC. Yeah,
all these
very slanted article.
slammed pieces on the Indian government.
Right. And so this journalist was kind of going off on this so-called guru person, but the guru person is someone who I'm not so into, but I appreciated his answer, and she was given such a negative slant and saying how divisive it is and this and that. But I was thinking, we were talking about the cow yesterday, right?
Mm.
And how this puja of the cow, how this worship of the cow, this this ritual, how the Western mind would see it and think, oh God, how primitive. But no, it wasn't primitive. It's that, Western people largely, we don't even think about directing our own thoughts. We just let them be directed. And they go in all kind of dark places and we can become very callous like that. So this incredible gift of nature that the Indians love as their mother, right? They say, hold it, let's think about this for a second, right? This cow is giving us milk, is providing for us in so many ways and showing us such love and affection. It's like our mother. Let's see it as our mother. That's actually like, that's advanced thinking. And so, any case, with that Ram Mandir, the whole thing was these people had a faith based on some very solid ancient texts, that go on in all different directions with all kinds of consistent depth of philosophy and theology and all different kind of sciences. And based on that, they had faith that spot was kind of like a spirit, a piece of the spiritual world in the material world, and it therefore was very special because it was the birthplace of Lord Ram. That was a very special spot. And when the Muslim invaders came in, they didn't. Not only did they not respect that, they very intentionally took that spot, desecrated it, and then built their mosque on top of it just to shove it down the throat and try to completely suppress this beautiful. They had a temple there that was a place where you would go to get uplifting thoughts, a place where you go into to contact your higher internal nature and let go of your lower nature, to give up greed and anger and lust and all these things by meditating on the form of Lord Ram. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. And invaders came and tried to, with incredible cruelty, try to crush it. And so to reclaim that spot is not divisive. It's just, righting a wrong that had existed there for many centuries.
Totally with you. And you should hear what the Dabur, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He was a Muslim king too. what he actually wrote about the
How they were
Krishna
going to
Janma
crush the
temple.
spirit of the Hindus and things
Yeah,
like
how
that.
he wanted to crush the spirit of the Hindus, demolish the Krishna Janma. That's what they'll go.
Yeah.
That's what they're going for next. They're going to take back the whole Krishna Janmastan.
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram. No, that's Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
And they did it all at all the biggest holy places. One was
I know,
Ram,
it's horrible. Yeah,
one was
it's-
Krishna, and one was Shiva. They went to
Yeah.
all those places, and then they did it hundreds of other places. And it was really it was really not because we wanted to worship our God. It was what we wanted to crush the spirit.
Yeah, they
out of
could have built a
yours.
mosque anywhere.
Anyway. You could build mosques anywhere.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
so now they're just saying, and then so some people are saying, oh, these aren't even. They're actually old mosques. But so they're saying, okay, we're going to go and see if they are. And they're just finding Sanskrit writing. They're finding deities buried or in the basement. They had to drain the one they're doing right now. And I think it's
Any magnet deities?
no magnet deities, but
Okay.
to that mosque right next to the one in Varanasi. And they drained the water because there's a whole water in the basement. And there they found the deity of Shiva. And they're just going to reclaim all these temples now. And who could do this for 500 years, be that tolerant? Any other cultures would say, okay, we had invaders coming in, we're taking back what's ours. India,
Well,
they
it
waited
was in
for
the courts
500 years.
for like a century or something like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, now that we got that off our chest,
Yeah.
you and me are
Okay, I
both
think it's
ready to
time for
explode.
takeaways.
How to apply? Lisa tells us, well, how do you apply?
It's
Sri
not enemies.
Prahlad's
That's the
teaching
point.
about
It's
enemies?
not a hatred or it's not enemies. It was like,
No,
it's
if you-
just like
it-
allow these wonderful people to have their beautiful
Yeah.
area of deep meditation for peace. That's
Sure.
that's why they established it, so that we can see the super soul in the heart of every living entity. Allow them to have that spot back. It's not seeing them as enemies.
Hindus do not convert by the sword.
Yeah.
They convert by culture. You see, oh, I want to learn that.
And they're not even
dance.
fixed
I
on
wanna learn that.
converting.
They're not even into converting. That's not their thing. Well, I don't know. I think it's not with the intent we want. I don't say that because we preach, but the idea is that. But we're okay.
But
if
we're
someone says,
happy if
"Yeah,
you're in
this
your
is-
own
This is
religion
great
and-
information.
Yeah.
This is great information. I'm going to apply it to Judaism. I'm going to apply it to Christianity."
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the feeling behind Hindus. They're going to share prasad and glub jamuns with you and Indian music and or bhajans. There's not an enemy. We don't feel like they're enemies or even competition. We embrace people wanting to practice their own spiritual faith.
Yeah. Yeah, it could have been like, sure, build your mosque, but why did you have to tear down our temple on the spot of Lord Ram's birthplace? That's where we went to uplift our minds and our hearts.
Yeah.
And you desecrated the whole thing, took it over, built a huge mosque on it, and tried to crush our faith and our practice.
Yeah. And the fact is, India is incredibly tolerant with other religions there. It always has been.
All right.
It's just the mood. Hang out with Hindus. They're not going to boycott a Christmas celebration. Like, oh, this is great. You're worshiping Jesus. How nice.
We'll do it too.
We'll do it too. Yeah, we'll worship Jesus. We'll worship.
Bring some glove jammins.
I'll bring some glove jammins to your Christmas party. Okay.
All right. Takeaways, Mara.
All right. To the extent we are sectarian, we're rowing the boat, but the anchor is down.
Okay.
Bhagavatam serves everyone and is relishable for all.
There you go. Raghunath's zoned out. Come on, stay with us, Raghu.
No,
Stay
he's
with
on
us.
the-
I'm zoned in.
Zoned into something else.
Zoned in, man. There's questions out there that need to be answered on the chat board.
If we think others are different, we can't attain the Paramatma.
That's right. That's what Prahlad said anyway.
Yeah. Sacred literature gives us trail markers.
Trail markers.
I like that. That was mine. Flaming trail markers.
How do you mark the trail, Raghunath?
I mark it.
I hope it's not like other animals do.
Got breadcrumbs.
Mark your territory.
Lose taste for the material world and cultivate attraction for Krishna.
All right, nice.
Maya is a thin veil or shiny broken glass.
Uh-uh.
The The process of bhakti removes the rust on the magnet of love for Krishna.
That's right.
Prema attracts Bhagavan himself.
Very good.
When we're eager for Krishna, he's eager for us.
Got that, Raghu?
He's eager.
We know too much to enjoy the movie set of the material world. And
It's not going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
and omniscience helps in debate.
It sure
Omniscience
does.
helps in debate. It does. It does. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thanks, everybody. We're going to miss you tomorrow. Wish me and Mara well on our trip to Govardhan Hill. Looking forward to that. We're saying prayers. If you want a prayer at Radhakund, we will say a prayer for you. You got to email Mara. How should they reach out to us? We should have a prayer list. No, a prayer list. Want us to pray for them? Send us a prayer. And we'll collect them. We'll say prayers. Govardhan Hill and Radhakund, these are powerful, potent prayer places.
You want to say a prayer for me?
Yeah, we'll say a prayer for you. What do you want? What do you want? I'll give you whatever you want. I'm granting wishes! Well, Radhakund is anyway. Yeah, they have to be spiritual prayers. Well, anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a nice day. Reading the Bhagavatam. America, go out to our goodbye meal today.